click. Okay. What is up? Welcome to the Inside BJJ podcast. Still banging the drum of jiu-jitsu a long time later, and we got a special guest with us today, a good friend of the show. I think Javi maybe is tied for being on the most. Maybe. How many times? Do you know how many times you've been on? You've been on a handful of times. You've been on this show, several times.
Yeah. I don't remember. I have no idea.
I don't remember.
It's been a long time though.
It's been a while though. It has. Well, I kind of wasn't super active doing it for a minute. I was taking a little break during COVID, but right now, we're back on it. So it's good to have you, dude. I appreciate you. You reached out to me a while ago, and I kind of didn't have my stuff together, but now I do. So here we are, man. Welcome, dude. How are things going, man?
Things are going good. I've been putting in a lot of work, basically restructuring how to teach jiu-jitsu. So that's been a bit of a brain drain, especially in the past several months, as things have really come to me and the information's come to me. It's been pretty crazy. Some of the things I figured out that I think will make jiu-jitsu a lot easier for people to learn.
Do you think that the more that you do it, the more simplicity you're able to see in it? And does it ever make you feel like you wasted time on things that were too difficult, but they seem freaking cool?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm dealing with right now that are like that. I'm like, why did it take me 30 years to figure this out, right? But it's not just me. It's when I start showing some of the things that I'm doing to other people, they've never seen any of that stuff either. So I think it's really that we've been kind of conditioned to think a particular way and think within a particular sandbox and learn jiu-jitsu within a particular way because it's just been it's been handed down that way. But what I started doing was I started asking questions. I started asking, why are we doing some of the things that we're doing? And when I started asking those questions, I started coming up with new solutions to certain situations and certain problems. Once you kind of get out of the framework and out of the sandbox, things are a lot simpler. I've started to look at body mechanics and making strategical decisions, and now at this point, I'm basically able to hack your mindset, hack your mind, and start altering your thinking. And I've also figured out how to turn on a fatiguing generating machine to where there's an ability to really make people tired. There's a fatiguing mechanism that can be turned on for sure.
It's always been intriguing to me how many different aspects or perspectives you have thought the game through on. And it's like, there's some people that are insightful because they have different perspectives, but I feel like you've gone a little further than that and have really spent a lot of time at different levels of looking at the game of jiu-jitsu, which is not easy to do because you're still learning the whole time you're doing that. It's not like you get to step back as a person who knows everything. You're stepping back as somebody who's actively learning all the time.
Yeah. I try to teach on 10 different layers of information. And it's just like if you're painting a car, you don't shoot one coat of paint and then the car is done. You shoot multiple coats of paint. And what I try to do is I try to highlight different problems, and then I dissect each problem independently. And what I try to do is I try to do it based on a timeline. So the first problem you run into, I'll mention that. And then when I present it again, I'll do it again. I'll mention the second problem. Then maybe, most people can't handle more than maybe one or two broken down details at a time.
Yeah.
it becomes too much. So then the next, so you say, okay, go out and do that. And then when they get those basic situations, we continue from there to the next step in the timeline. Everything is based on a timeline of events. And what I'm realizing is that the motion through time, the decision and motion through time that we are experiencing, my behavior has started to really control and dictate your behavior because I'm behaving and fighting you in a particular way from particular configurations. It's forcing you to have to react in particular ways. So what I'm doing is I'm generating a timeline of events. So my behavior is forcing you to react. I know what your reactions are going to be. So what I start doing is I start creating a buffer. So I'm able to be calmer and less reactive because I've allowed a buffer in time, which allows that to happen. The other thing that I've recognized is the psychological effects of the patterns that I'm kind of following. If you take a 10-second span of time, and I'm in a dominant, comfortable position, but you're in a position where you're uncomfortable, or your arm is extended, or your shoulders tweaked. Not, while you're experiencing that, what's actually happening is time in your mind is moving much slower than time in my mind.
Yeah.
So not only are you getting more tired, but the experience is a lot more radical. It's a lot more traumatic. And for me, it's easier. So during the same amount of time, the experience you're going through in your mind is much more challenging than mine is. I know what decisions I have to make your experience as difficult as possible. And then I go, okay, from a strategical standpoint, from a biomechanical standpoint, from a positional standpoint, from a psychological standpoint, I try to base my decisions based on multiple layers of information, not just the base layer, or not just in the timeline, there's three basic parts. The first part, you're kind of chasing the person, trying to catch up to them. The second, you're kind of in the flow, so you're doing things in the flow. And the third, you're actually generating the behavior in the future. So rather than you trying to chase something or catch up to something, you just bring it to you. You summon things to you.
Like a wizard. More or less, right?
Jiu-jitsu wizard.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Magic
Bobby,
and
let me introduce you to our audience, just by chance that somebody's out there. There's a whole new crowd of people doing jiu-jitsu now, man. They're like all these they were all 4 years old, you know what I mean? Now they're 24. It's wild. But man, you had a great MMA career and a great, well-rounded grappler. Like, one of the things that I always liked about your style is that you could wrestle. You had, great jiu-jitsu, Carlson Gracie, Rodrigo Medeiros, but you also trained with the other side of the family a lot, to where you absorbed. And when I say the other side, I'm talking about the Horian side, right? And in Henner and Hedon and Halleck and that crew, obviously picking up a lot of great things. Like, there's good stuff everywhere, but you seem to be in a very particular spot where you could put it all together, which I think gives you a really unique perspective. And on top of it, you also fought, which I think makes you better. I don't know if you necessarily have to be a fighter to teach jiu-jitsu, but I think it makes you better if you have been in there. You certainly understand at a higher level, like, what's happening when you're subjecting yourself to that. But great career, man. You fought in the WEC. You fought in King of the Cage. UFC. Yeah, hey, but that was back in the day, I was buying King of the Cage DVDs, like, I was looking for everything I could get my hands on to watch.
Yeah, it was a big deal for a while. It was a big show for a while.
It was, yeah. I think, are they still going? They might. That is what they are basically like. They're like Naga, right? They're Naga. They're never going to end.
They are. I think they have the biggest library in like MMA. Like, they had hundreds of shows. They had hundreds of shows all over the world. So I was their first world champion. I was their first Hall of Fame inductee. It's been It's been interesting. It's been cool.
It's very cool, man. You have notable wins over guys like Joe Stevenson and UFC Hall of Famer Jens Pulver. Like, you had a great career when you were fighting as an active fighter, great at jiu-jitsu, great coach. So it's good to have you on. If you don't know who Javi is or you haven't checked him out, you got to do yourself a favor and check him out. You got to look him up. You're easy to find. It's easy to find everybody now. It's just super easy.
I've been, I've been kind of under the radar for a long time. I kind of think I've wanted to be under the radar for a long time, and now it's getting to a point where, and we've hung out a few times, so I'm pretty introverted. Like, the people that kind of know me know I'm not like super out there.
Yeah.
But I definitely believe that I'm on a bit of a crusade, spiritually and in my work now. When I started to write the master plan was 2011. I wrote 16 books, and really it was my fighting career was the research and development to figure out what worked and what didn't. And I don't know of anybody who has put as much time into a curriculum as much as I have. So it's got to be good. You know what I mean? I've been telling you guys for years that it's good, and I think it's one of a kind. I think when the jiu-jitsu history book is written, the master plan will be one of the main things in it.
I know it's extensive because I remember when you brought it to Stockton and you were showing it to me. You had it in your suitcase and it was like giant, dude. And you're like, look, and you started flipping through the pages, and I was like, damn, dude, this guy is.
It was a process. It was a process.
Yeah.
Like the 16 books was crazy. It's like 500,000 words. I wrote everything in like 4 years, and then it was too much. So since then, it allowed me to kind of lay everything out on the table and take a look at each position and break down each position a little bit simpler. When everything is written down, it allowed me to really break things down. The most difficult chapter was guard bottom was by far the most difficult chapter because of the complexities. It's kind of hard to teach a way to approach working from guard that's economical, because I can say, well, climb your legs or rubber guard or all this stuff, but that stuff is not economical in the long run. And what I started to realize was, especially with the amount of pressure, I call it constant core tension, that I'm able to generate now from the top to the bottom, it's really unsustainable from the bottom, no matter what you do. And I have a great system to counter it, and it's still not like you're basically on a timer. At some point, you've got to transition. You got to either get up and separate, or you got to transition from bottom to top, because the fatiguing mechanism from side mount, I call it the meat grinder. It's designed to make you tired. The whole system is designed to make you tired. So I make you tired until you turn your back. I figured out a way to make you tired until you turn your back. You turn your back, I trap your arm, I attack your neck. So it's such a good system. It's such a refined system that even like my purple belts and brown belts, it's gotten to a point where I can't really play bottom anymore, because it's just a matter of time before I get tired. So I've started to recognize that really what makes the biggest difference from guard is not really necessarily submitting from guard. I can do it. I can submit from guard, but it's more so understanding the importance of how to transition from bottom to top. So a lot of people will say, well, if I ask you, how do you transition from bottom to top? Most people will say, you just sweep a guy. Well, I look at it as very limiting to think of it from that perspective. I think that sweeping a guy is one part. And if you attack sweeps to go from bottom to top, that's one thing you can do. But I say there's more to it. I say no matter how I get there, I can get there. So I say I will sweep, I will use reverse arm bars, I will use kimuras, I will use guillotines, I will use drag. So now I have an assortment of tools that I have in order to achieve my goal. So I try to reverse engineer the problem. And the whole master plan has been reverse engineered. So that's why it works so well.
How do you solve this? How do you condense the pitch enough that somebody doesn't feel overwhelmed? Because when you say like 16 books,
That's
it's like, dog, dude.
yes.
I'm just gonna go back to my
I'm gonna
basic shit, dude.
I'm gonna make things so simple for you right now. It's gonna blow your mind. This has taken me 30 years to figure out. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. There are 3 core ground positions. I just released the first of the 5 lectures on the YouTube channel. Chest to chest, chest to back, and supplemental. Chest to chest is made up of 4 chapters: turtle top and turtle bottom, back mount offense, and back mount defense. Chest to back. That's it. Chest to back work as one position with one goal: to trap the arm and attack the neck. I can trap the arm from turtle and attack the neck, or I can take the back, trap the arm from the back, and attack the neck. The strategy doesn't change. So long as you're turning your back away from me, the first thing I'm doing is I'm trapping your arm and I'm attacking your neck. Then the question becomes, how do I trap the arm? Oh, there's a lot of ways for me to trap your arms from everywhere. Now, when I take your back, or when I get the chest to back, I'm trying to get to an optimized finishing position. Is it better if I'm on your back and you have both arms free, or if I trap one of your arms?
Trap them, man.
Is it better if I trap your arm in front of your body or behind your back?
Behind.
So trapping the guy's arm behind the back is an optimized finishing position. Then the question becomes, well, how do I trap the guy's arm behind the back? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So everything I do is based on trapping your arm behind your back and then finishing from the back. Chest to chest is the most complex position there is. You have the side mount, you have the mount, and you have the guard, because the guy's facing you. Would I rather have you facing me? Would I rather have you facing me, or would I rather have you facing away from me?
Facing away.
Okay, so my whole game is designed to get you to turn your back. Great.
I see.
The complexity comes when the person is facing you. Now, we spend most of our time inside the guard. So guard and side mount are linked. You go from guard to side mount, from side mount to guard. So there's a lot of energy being expended in guard top, side mount bottom, and side mount top, side mount top and side mount bottom. There's a lot of interaction between those two things. And then I say, what was the most complex chapter when I wrote the books? Guard. What if there's a way that there is no guard? What if there's a way I can teach you to bypass the legs? And I don't call it passing the guard anymore. It's bypassing the legs. And when I bypass the legs, I land in side mount. Side mount is what I call the central hub. It's like Dallas-Fort Worth. Everybody flies into side mount, and from side mount, you can get anywhere. You can get to turtle. You can get to the back. You can get to the legs. You can get to the arm. You can get to all other core ground positions from side mount. Now, if you mount, you go to a secondary attack strategy. Now, chest to chest, the only difference between side mount, guard, and mount is where the legs are. Are the legs on the side? Are the legs on top? Or are the legs wrapped around the bottom? Same position, same configuration, it's just based on perspective. So I say, what if I can teach you a way, a very effective way, a very fatiguing way to consistently pass anybody's guard, but using what I call basic mechanics. So I'm going to teach you the basic mechanics of the guard, understand the mechanics of the legs, and there's no more guard. Let's just assume there's no more guard. So now you are left, if there's no ground guard, if guard is no longer a thing, now you're only dealing with side mount, turtle, back mount, and mount as core ground positions. Chest to chest, chest to back.
All the pinning positions.
Yes. Now, if you mount, there is another twisting transition that we got to control, which I call the mount grinder. So there's a twisting transition from side mount to turtle that I control that's extremely fatiguing. And then there's a twisting transition from mount to back that is extremely fatiguing that I control, which I call the mount grinder. So I control the twisting transitions, which is something that most people don't do. They don't understand the importance of the twisting transition. The final of the 3, so you have chest to chest, you have chest to back. The third is supplemental. Supplemental are extremities, the legs and the arms. So they are a destination. So similar to the back mount or chest to back, extremities are destinations to finish. So you get to the arm and then you finish on the arm. You get to the legs and then you finish on the legs. You get to the back and you finish from the back. They're destinations. Now, extremities the control point changes. So when you're dealing with chest to chest and chest to back, the primary control mechanism is your chest and your hands. That is what's making the weight and making the control. When you change to a supplemental position and you control the extremities, now the control mechanism goes to the legs. So when you attack the legs, what's controlling the person? Your legs. When you control the arm, what's controlling the person? Your legs. So now you're kind of categorizing positions and grouping things together. And when you do things that way, it simplifies what you're trying to do. Now, when you get to a pinning position, you have two things you have to control: the hands and the turn. And when you start to think of jiu-jitsu in this simplified way, everything changes. Now you're no longer looking at moves. The reason that there's 16 books is because there's 10 I think when I did it, there was 1,008 techniques that I broke down. I'm like, it's too much. It's too complicated. So you have to simplify things down to core ground position: chest to chest, chest to back, and supplemental. Each core ground position has a central path. Each central path, what that means is that it is the attack or defensive strategy that works the best every time. There's a move you go to from mount that works just about every time. What is it? Usually it's an elbow escape, right? What is the move that works really well when you take somebody to escape somebody's back mount? Control the arm and transfer to the other side, put the back on the ground. That's what works every time. That's what works more often than not. 80% of the time, that's what works. That's what we start with first. How do you attack the legs the best? What are the configurations in the legs that work the best? 411 and game over. I mean, is there any argument about that? The things I speak are what I call universal truths. They're not debatable. The way I do things, it's not really debatable. Like, you can sit there and go, well, maybe I'll do this, but yeah, the way he's doing it is actually really does work really well. So by starting with what works well first, what I've realized, and the machine is on. That's why I tell you, I have a little grin to me. There's a little chip in my shoulder because I already know what's going to happen. It's already happening. What I'm experiencing, the students are now experiencing. So what starts happening, it's a self-correcting mechanism. The way my students are attacking from the top is so good, and the way that my students are defending from the bottom is so good that we're constantly dealing with the worst case scenario. So when we roll with other guys that don't know what we're doing, we just run through them. So what I'm doing is I'm creating what I call rapid skill development. I'm able to get you really good, really fast, which is the problem with jiu-jitsu that I tried to solve. The whole reason I started to do it this way is because it was just taking too long for people to get good. So I figure if I can cut the amount of time down, I think people would appreciate cutting the time down to get really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think isn't that that's the goal, right? All the time, everyone's trying to cut the time down. It's just, I don't think everybody has the ability to condense and break apart and put back together again the information in new and meaningful ways. It's a lot of regurgitation, which there's a lot of things like that.
It's taking me a minute.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, we have a comment from Instagram. Jose said he trained with you for 11 years before he moved to, or he trained with you 11 years ago before moving to Colorado. He said all the systems you're talking about, Javi was teaching it way back then. Mm-hmm. He still remembers it.
Yep.
So, cool.
Now they're just more refined. Now it's the same basic system, but they're very refined. Optimizing control was a huge addition. Fatigue generation was a huge addition. Behavior generation was a huge addition. Connection was a huge, so like I said, I teach in 10 layers of information. So each position is taught with 10 layers of detail.
I think the challenge is to get somebody to conceptualize it, what you're saying. So I want to ask you this. I know you have a YouTube channel. Do you have videos like that give you like a 2-minute breakdown on JVOS, like, or something like that? Does that exist?
Yes.
Are there pretty pictures? Because we're cavemen. You know this crowd, dude. Come on.
Go. What I want you to do is do me a favor. Go on. I mean, I'm going to be releasing these. I've got, I think, 12 or 14. I think they're 14 now. 13 of the 14 are done. I'm working on the last one right now. There are 14 lectures that I'm going to be releasing which explain everything. It breaks everything down. It teaches you what positions are linked, how to control from each position, and they're lectures. They're like TED Talks with the background. They're just, and I'm talking through the lectures, and then that's going to start. What I'm trying to do with those lectures is trying to restructure the way you're starting to see the positions. So what starts happening after a while is you're able to start to visualize the central path in your mind. Everything I teach is color coordinated. So when you look at a map, you can kind of see how one thing goes to the other based on the color coordination. And then the second you get that, it starts to slowly turn on a picture in your mind so you can start seeing things visually in your mind. It's been interesting. I'm taking teaching jiu-jitsu to a whole different level because I'm incorporating many different I'm incorporating so many new aspects and rethinking everything in a different way. And my main goal is absorption. And the lectures that I've created were very difficult to make, and they're very informationally dense. So you might get through a lecture and you might need to watch it 2 or 3 times to get the full grasp of it. And I did it like that on purpose because it's better for me to just get everything out correctly the first time and have you guys watch it 2 or 3 times until you get the concept. Because I do that. There's things that I'm into. That I have to watch it 2 or 3 times. There's books that I've read 2 or 3, 4 or 5 times, and then slowly but surely you start to get the little layers of information, or you start to have experience. And then what they mentioned in the book, yes, I'm experiencing that. So it's good at reaffirmment when you listen to things over and over. So I've kind of designed things in a way where color gives you consistency. So if you want to look at a particular lecture set on the YouTube channel, you're looking for blue, you're looking for red. So it makes it a little bit easier to navigate through the vast amount of information. I think the organizational capabilities that I've been able to put together are going to help a lot.
Javi, we have a question from one of the folks listening or following along online. This is I'll throw his comment up on the board here. Let me figure out how to do that real quick. He says, does Javi teach something similar to the 36 Gracie combatives for beginners from Andreas?
I taught Gracie combatives for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Not that good, right? No, I'm kidding.
I'm not going to say it's not that good.
I'm kidding, Javi. Hold on. Wait. You're too serious. I'm kidding.
No. I know you are. Because everybody likes to bash on them. I think Gracie Combatives is a really good program.
I do too.
Easy to understand.
I do too. I agree with you.
I took a different approach to it. I took a different approach to things. What I started with first was something I called desired results. So I have a set of, I think, 5 or 6 desired results. First of all, I want rapid skill development. So at the end of a 2-year program with me, because of the way I teach in a cycle, and we're working on one strategy and we're building from that strategy, I gained rapid skill development. I wanted something I call universal comfort. So I have every position, I have a central path from each position, which builds comfort.
Universal comfort sounds like if the government decided they were going to give you like government grade whiskey.
That's what I call side control.
Universal comfort. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
It basically means that you're cool everywhere. No matter what position you're in, there's not really a sense of panic. You understand what the central path is and you're okay. I wanted high levels of effectiveness. I think Hicks and Gracie talks about jiu-jitsu's lost its effectiveness, and I agree with them a lot on that point. I think people do a lot of things that don't work. So I think that the practicality and the effectiveness of jiu-jitsu has diminished over time. I'm trying to bring that back. I wanted high levels of efficiency. I like to make you tired, and I don't like to be tired. So and I wanted punch defense strategies throughout. And the way I've been able to achieve that is optimizing hand control from every position. If I can control your hands will give you 95% of all the problems. So if I can control that, I have a lot less problems to start with. So everything slows down if I'm able to control your hands. So I think that I'm taking a different approach. It's not 36 moves that are going to save your life. I'm focusing more so on building skill sets and giving, and having people follow a strategy from each particular position rather than teaching you 36 moves. So it's a different approach to it. So we'll see what you guys think when it's all said and done.
we got another question in from the viewers right now. So this is from Jose. Will these lectures be instructionals, and when will they come out?
The lectures right now, again, are laying down a framework. And then what I'm doing is I have about 5 terabytes of data of programs that are already labeled, they're already categorized, they're already in their folders. And we're slowly starting to edit those and get those things out. JVOS is already out. JVOS is a mindset program, which kind of helps you start to think a little bit different about jiu-jitsu. And what it does is, as the more you apply JVOS concepts, the more they make sense over time. I'm also putting together JVTV. JVTV is like my Netflix subscription library. It's about 800 videos, 750, 800 videos that are going to be for like at a good price at $29.99 a month. We're finishing up that library. And then once that library is done, I have a set of introductory seminars that I taught. 5 key principles, the turtle attack series, the side mount attack series. So I've been teaching seminars, and those are basically going to be the first layer of information. And then we're going to do the central path on top of that down the road, which is going to be, developing the timeline of events within these initial seminars, different reactions, different behaviors, and then we start to go into secondary and supplemental attack options. So I'm teaching this in layers. I'm laying a very strong foundation with JVOS and the introductory lectures and basically the central path seminars. And then once all that's done, then we'll start getting into the secondary and supplemental stuff. So there's a lot of stuff on the way.
Where is the best place right now? If somebody's like, I gotta consume this right now, where should they go right now?
jvjujitsuonline.com.
Okay, jvjujitsuonline.com. Boom. All right, let's put that up. So there you got it. If you're interested in this, if you're watching and you want to get more, check out JV Jiu-Jitsu Online. I promise you're not going to be disappointed. There's tons of material. Javi, you're not like a well that's deep. You're like an ocean that we're still trying to find the bottom of. We're like, wait, where does he stop?
I'm gonna
I found another layer.
I'm gonna tell you that I've been doing this a long time, and I've really been dissecting this stuff for a long time. There are positional thresholds everywhere. I call that a positional threshold. What is the bottoming out of each position? Each position does have a positional threshold. Some are deeper than others. Some positions are better than others. Some positions are more important than others, right? Some configurations are better than others. So I've kind of broken this down frame by frame. I understand which configurations are green, which configurations are red. I play a game of probability. I know that the green configurations I'm going to win 60 to 80% of the time, maybe more. And I know the red configurations I'm going to win less than 50%, 20 to 50% of the time. So I try to avoid those positions, those configurations, and I try to stick to the green configurations, which are more successful. That's really all it is. It's configuration theory.
What do you think? Okay, let's yes, and it's obvious to me that you have, and others are doing their version of adding a meta layer onto jiu-jitsu or trying to have a better way of breaking it down. There's all kinds of approaches out there that exist. I think yours is just the most thorough and covers some aspects where you're like, yeah, okay, yes, I believe that, I think that, I've said that, but then there's others where I've gone, oh, I never really even thought about that, but it does make sense. So if you're watching, make sure you check Javi out. I wanna ask you about a couple things going on in the jiu-jitsu world right now, though, and I don't know how much you're paying attention to what's going on with ADCC and the Craig Jones Invitational. Obviously, it's pretty big news, at least in the no-gi grappling world, that Craig Jones is throwing a big event on the same day or overlapping with ADCC. He's pulled a bunch of guys off the roster. There's going to be $1 million prize, yada, yada, yada. What's your overall where are you at on all this? When we take your temperature on this, like, how do you view this, and what's your overall kind of feeling about this?
I think competition's good if it's going to force other people to make adjustments. I mean, I think that sometimes things have to change. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of IBJJF rules. I'm not a big fan of how they run their business. It seems to be very heavily money motivated, and I think that ADCC had basically a monopoly for many years about their event. And I'm sure I haven't really heard too many bad stories about how they treat their guys, but I'm sure they're out there. But I think that competition is good, and the cream will rise to the top. Whoever's business model works the best, whoever is treated with more respect and treats the fighters better, the people will go there. I think that it's a good thing that people are competing, because it keeps people in check. I think sometimes people get a little bit too comfortable. And I think sometimes, and I don't think ADCC rules are even that great anyway. So it's good to mix things up. And if guys want to go to a different show because they're getting paid more, good. Like I said, ADCC makes plenty of money. They can pay people more money. And if somebody can figure out a way to make people listen, if Craig Jones does one of these and then bombs out because he went broke because of it, I mean, then that used to happen in MMA. There's lots of shows that did,
and jiu-jitsu, right? I mean, that was kind of
jiu-jitsu jiu-jitsu too. So he's got to figure out something that, if he wants to hurt ADCC for one show and then ADCC's back next year and then he's done, I mean, great. I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
The point is to be able to have sustainable competition over long periods of time, to be an alternative to the longevity and making an alternative with longevity is what's going to make the difference. Not paying a bunch of people for one show. I don't think that's what's going to make the difference.
Do you
go ahead, Omar?
Do you like the 3 5-minute round layout of CGI? Did you?
What is the rule layout?
Yeah.
So the way the rules are going to work is they're going to have 3 5-minute rounds, and they're going to score the rounds on a 10-9 system or a 10-8 or a 10-7. And if it's if it goes 3 rounds and there's no, let's see, how are they going to do this? If it goes to the 3rd round and it's tied, whoever wins the last round is going to win the fight.
Too complicated.
And they're also going to have a pit with a 45-degree wall.
Too complicated.
So this is what I want to hear your thoughts, and here's why. Listen, I'm kind of with you, because I think a lot of these ideas, they seem really cool, but guys have tried cool stuff in the past, and it's like, if you don't do it right, it's hard to keep the crowd. Now, it is, man. Having said that, is there risk that it just is kind of like a sideshow, or it's some unintended consequence?
I'm already
going to
tell you
it's going
to be boring. You're telling me the rules, I'm telling you it's not going to work.
Why do you think it will be boring?
It's too complicated. Too many breaks, too many changes. It's too complicated.
Do you think that 10-9 scoring system makes it?
You're adding too much complexity. Now you got to have people sitting there that know what they're doing, that are going to be judging each match independently. It's too complicated. There's too many layers of problem. There's too many options for
it to go wrong.
Things to go wrong.
Yeah,
I see.
I mean, I am with you, because I'm a 46-year-old dude who's worked on a lot of projects and done a lot of things, and has realized over time that when you add too many new elements and moving parts to things, it's very easy to fail. So that's my concern. This is going to be their first show, although they do have really high-level producers, and they got a great crew of people that are doing it, and they're putting a lot of money behind it. But I don't know if you could buy your way out of a potentially faulty concept.
Okay, you're going to mark my what do they say? Mark my words. What do they say? Mark my words. It's too complicated.
Plain and simple. Just
I'm going to tell you, I've done every rule set there is. Who's done more rule sets than me?
Well,
I've
this is why I
competed
wanted to
under-
ask you, because you're
I've
you're a
competed.
tinkerer.
I've competed under pancrase. I've competed under MMAs. I fought in a cage. I fought in a ring. I fought in EBI. I fought EBI rules. I fought IBJJF rules. I fought my no time limit rules. I fought submission only. I have fought every kind of new rule set in every kind of in rings, in cages. I have done all of it. And I think that my rule set was good. I think that Eddie's is the best. And I've told Eddie this. I think EBI rules, when you it's a balance. Rule sets are a balance. When you balance the excitement, when you balance the intrigue, when you balance the drama, when you balance the finality, when you balance the training, you have to train a particular way for the rule set, which makes you better. It focuses you on bad positions. It's improving your game where you're weak. It is the best balance of rules. 10 minutes is more than enough with an overtime, more than enough. No breaks. I think that the solution has been solved. I think the problem has been solved. I don't know why we don't just, okay, this is a really good rule set. I've competed under all rule sets, and I've won and lost under EBI rules, and I still think it's the best. So it's not like, oh, I'm only winning. I'm only winning.
Right.
No, I've won and I've lost.
It favors
and
me.
I still think it definitely favors my style for sure. I think the problem has been solved. I think that adding it's all show, adding the pit, who cares? Who cares? So long as guys aren't falling off stages and getting hurt, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
that's
and
a
it's
great
simple,
point.
and it's already a known commodity. Why are we changing, the rules? There's no
Novelty. It's novelty.
I understand that, but
yeah.
it's that will. I have a feeling that those rules are going to be the downfall of that. It's not going to be the production. It's not going to be the money. It's going to be that rule set and the desired result. What result? When you have a rule set, it produces a particular type of product.
Right. Yes, it's a
configuration.
configuration. Yes.
The product that you're producing is going to have problems. That's my prediction.
The product is the matches, right?
Let me tell you something. I wish him well. I think that I have respect for Craig Jones as an athlete. I think he's very good. I think he's a very good marketer. I think he's good for jiu-jitsu as a whole. He's a bit weird in my book. He's a bit weird, but hey, I'm a bit weird too, But I think he does more good for jiu-jitsu than bad, right?
Sure.
He does more good than bad for jiu-jitsu. It's all good, but I don't. When you tell me, it took me 2 seconds to hear those rules and say, it's not going to work. But yeah. I wish him well. I hope it does work. I've been around a little bit too long, and I'm not trying to be negative. I hope it works for him. I hope it goes well. I hope maybe that I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. The level of complexity, it could work, but it's more likely with the level of complexity that it's probably not going to.
Just
the matches are going to be boring. Keep it simple, stupid.
It's tricky. Yeah. It's tricky. And especially when you have a pit, because that's a new thing. The wall is not a cage. It's not a 90-degree angle. Right. It's a 45 degree.
How are they going to work the production? Are they going to only work from the outside? Is the guy going to be walking onto the pit, falling all over the pit?
Well, that's what. Have you seen Karate Combat? That's what they do for Karate Combat. They use the pit.
Oh, okay.
But Karate Combat's not jiu-jitsu.
Correct.
They've done some jiu-jitsu matches in the pit, and there's been a couple exciting submissions. It's been like kind of cool.
There was a show years ago that did a pit with a cage. Do you remember that show? And then people started to climb up the cage, and it was crazy. It produced a completely different product. Yeah, like the guys would get backed up into the cage, and they would walk their feet up, and they walk up, and then they would circle. You guys, I don't remember the name of the show, but there was a show. They ran like maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then it went out of business. But it was a pit, and then there was a cage on the top of the pit. So it was like, you understand what I'm saying?
You couldn't get out. Yeah. You were stuck.
Well, imagine an octagon, and then it would kind of sink in on the side.
It goes down. Oh, goes. Is it?
So there's a cage. Imagine an octagon, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a bowl. And then
okay.
Remember the bowl thing?
Oh, got you. So you couldn't get out.
Well, you can still.
You could, but it's pretty tough.
You're deeper in the hole. Like the cage is higher when you're in the center.
What's the point?
It's the same thing. It's a gimmick. The same thing that Craig Jones is doing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a spectacle. Oh, you can see it, but it's all the same. And then, so what started happening was guys. It was hard to take guys down because now you're on an incline. It was. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you think it's just gimmicky? There's no like real.
There's no
jiu-jitsu?
functionality to that,
No.
bro.
Yeah.
Makes
Do you
no
think
sense.
it will make for a interesting television product?
No. No. Just keep it flat. Why do we have to have it in a pit? Just keep it flat.
It's hard to see.
Who has something like that to train on to get used to what's going
I
on?
know.
Yeah.
Well, these
That is
guys are
one
having
thing.
to build their own little pit, their own pit
That's what I'm
walls.
saying. It's not
Yeah.
practical.
Yeah.
It's not practical. Listen,
Sure.
I wish him well. I just,
Me too.
I already see. It's like I could forecast the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, that's a.
But
I mean,
but it's something else. Again, he's doing more good than bad. Like I'm not knocking the guy for it, but I mean,
Yeah. How closely
if he needs me to consult with him, I'm happy to consult with him.
I'm available.
I'm
Yeah.
available because some of the things that you're doing, I don't know.
How closely do you follow competitive jiu-jitsu right now?
I can't watch it.
It's
I can't watch it.
Is it because it drives you crazy?
The solutions that I've come up with are so simple, and nobody sees them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So I see a bunch of people that are missing a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to say something negative but you know, it's all
does
good.
most of the jiu-jitsu world frustrate you because you can see it so simply and nobody else really can?
That's why I'm in a box. That's why I'm just kind of do my own thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like DBI. I support it. You saw that I supported DBI, right? The things I like, I support.
Right.
But most things, it's just, I see, you know, I remember what I rolled like when I was in my 20s. I remember what I rolled like when I was in my 30s. And now I know what I roll like when I'm in my, 40s, almost 50. And all of the stuff that I used to do was just a bunch of energy wasted. I wish I knew what I know now then, because I would have never gotten tired. Because if I had the gas, I don't get that tired now. I'm super efficient now. Imagine if I had this level of efficiency and I had the gas tank that I was in my 20s, I wouldn't get tired. I would be able to set paces and put people through patterns in a way where I would just exhaust people and I wouldn't get tired. So
Yeah. I mean,
that's the
I
difference.
think
The efficiency
I think
is
what
different.
you're saying is what a lot of OGs that are really, really great at the game say when they're on the other side of it, because now you have all the experience. You have it all, and you're able to actually look at it and go like, oh, now I can make sense of it. But the problem with Father Time is that by the time we figure that out, our body's like, nah, dog, we can't do that now. Like,
Well, what I'm doing now, what I'm hoping for is just for people to be able to train jiu-jitsu for a long time. That's kind of
Yeah.
longevity.
how
So I
old
train
should
my
somebody
guy-
be able to go? Like, what's your goal, and then what do you think is a reasonable goal?
Till the day I die.
Pretty
Till the
reasonable.
day I die. I will die on a mat. That's my
That
goal.
sounds good. I mean, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
That's the program I'm trying to be
That-
on.
Yeah.
That's you have to be able to train knowing that that's your desired result.
Yeah, no kidding. You know how well that would serve most people who are training if they just took a step back and said, you know what? This is something I want to be committed to for is indefinitely. I do not need to rush it and put so much pressure on every single round with every single person trying to hurry up and get good and win all the time. It's
Yeah.
such a roadblock. It's such a roadblock to your development.
I think there's two. When I got sick, I came back better. I meditated and I learned a lot of things while I was out, believe it or not. And there's two ways that you can improve. You can improve your physical. You can improve it through muscle memory. You can improve it through strength. You can improve it through agility training. You can improve that. And then you can improve your mind. You can improve your mind through your breath work. You can improve your mind through your presence. You can improve your mind through your strategy. You can improve your mind through your decision making, your choices. So I think a lot of people will say, well, you just got to drill, to muscle memory, muscle memory, muscle memory. But muscle memory doesn't take into account in many times timing, rhythm, projection, like basically being able to forecast what's happening, to be able to generate what's going to happen. I think that those things are missing because you're basing all of the movement based on speed and timing. I think that when you fight in ways where you're hyper efficient, both optimizing control, optimizing your weight distribution, understanding the basics of turn mechanics and crumble mechanics and building mechanics, and concepts like the unsustainable 45. Like when you start to look at things through a different lens, it changes everything. I'll teach you one thing, and I'll go teach a seminar for you, and I'll be like, talk to me in 3 months. Play with this and talk to me in 3 months. And in 2 or 3 months, you're going to call. In a week, you're going to call me. You're going to be like, the difference is unbelievable. I can't believe that nobody showed this before. I know the impact that the things that I'm saying are having on people. And not just white belts, and not just blue belts, and not just purple belts, and not just brown belts. Spending time with high-level black belts, and they're like, holy cow. Holy cow. So I know that what I'm doing is too good. And what's happening is, the next generation of my students, the kids' classes that I'm teaching now, in 10 years, are going to have this hyper level of refinement and have the gas tank based on their youth in order to step up the level to something different. To have the mindset, the confidence, the focus, the ability to regulate your mind, the ability to regulate your breath, the ability to regulate your emotions, the ability to constantly be in a state of calm and focus, following a strategically solid game plan. And like I said, there's layers of information. And if you follow the master plan, if you follow the game plan, you're going to win. All I say is that you're going to win far more than you lose. That's kind of like my pitch. You will win far more than you lose if you just do things my way.
Javi, Winterstick, who is watching on YouTube, says he hasn't seen Javier in ages. Congratulations on beating cancer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is pretty awesome. I was just thinking about that, and I was thinking about you, and I was like, damn, that's some
Let's see how long
stuff.
I can go. Let's see how long I can
let's go,
what
baby.
What if I live until I'm 90?
Well, dude, that's the plan, right? Michael Libby says, but I'm the next Gordon, bro. What do you think is the key to Gordon's success right now?
Gordon, Danaher and I actually, like, I've gotten multiple people that say that we actually think kind of similar. We follow a lot of the same principles. Gordon understands a lot of the things that I understand. Danaher understands a lot of the things that I understand. What people don't realize is that eventually everybody will figure out this information. I feel I'm about 3 years ahead. I've always felt that I've been about 3 years ahead technically. Danaher understands about absolute advantage. Danaher understands about, I don't think he's at optimized control yet, but he definitely understands absolute advantage. He understands relentless persistence. He understands frame by frame, how to attack things frame by frame. So the information, good people will always come up with the same solutions. I think based on the physics and the mechanics of our body, there's a threshold to how good you can be. There's a threshold of what you can do. Opportunity, courage, timing, will to win, all of these, determination, these things are what's going to make the difference at the highest level. Once the technique has been kind of maxed out. I think that Gordon is successful because he follows the game plan. He's very disciplined at the game plan. And if you really look at how he sets things up and controls people, he understands how to control. I also understand how to control, and And what I say is, when you start to understand how to control people from turning, it changes everything. When you understand how to control people's hands, the hands and the turn, those are the two things that once you control those two things, everything changes. So he understands a lot of key principles that, everyone thinks that they're like super geniuses. And to me, it's like, this is absolute advantage. This is relentless persistence. That's how he's doing it. He's wearing people out. He's able to make people rev higher than he does for long periods of time, making them more tired than he is at the end of that same set of time, and then it makes it easier to finish. It's master plan philosophy, master plan strategy.
Javi, we have a question from Jose. He says, Javi, when you're in Colorado, do you strictly only do Hordinsky's, referring to Steve Hordinsky's seminars, or are you open to coming to Colorado Springs? I think we could get a good group out for you. Hey, man,
yes,
that's business right there. Let's go.
Yes. No, I've taught at a couple of different places in Colorado, maybe 4 or 5 different places. Steve is a really good friend of mine. So I always go visit Steve because we have a very good relationship. I think Dwayne told me the next time I go out there to give him a call. The next time I have something scheduled to give him a call. And I've done Colorado Springs in the past. So just hit me up on the Instagram if you want to set something up, and I'll do a Colorado tour.
Nice.
Next time I go to Colorado.
There you go. Javi, real quick before we jump off, and thank you for taking the time to chat with us tonight, man. It is good to catch up with you, but I want people to pay attention to the things that you're talking about, because I don't think enough people are.
Not yet.
You know what I mean?
It's coming. I know it's coming. And I've been mentally preparing because I know it's coming.
It's thorough. It's in depth. Like there's a lot of good stuff in there. There really is. It's just a shift in the way people think about jiu-jitsu, and it just takes time. And not everyone's gonna. A lot of people are gonna go like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
It's understanding a different level of consciousness. All I'm doing is I've basically created a language. I speak in a way and present in a way. Using language, and then the words that I use are defined. So you're getting a higher, when I say a word, when I say relentless persistence, relentless persistence has a definition. When I say absolute advantage, there's a definition. So I believe that when I lay down, that's what JVOS does. It kind of lays down a foundation of vocabulary, and then I give you the moves or the concept, demonstrated through moves based on different positions, to give you a depth to the words that I'm saying. That's why some people are like, it's too much. I gotta listen to you a couple times just to fully understand what you're saying, because every word that I choose is chosen for a specific reason. Like I said, the lectures are very informationally dense. So it's like, yes, everything he says makes sense, but it kind of rattles my brain. So I got to kind of listen to it again. So I think that, I think it's coming. I think when I started, when I made the decision to start writing the books, a couple of things have happened. I had a bit of a life change, life altering situation happen when I first started writing the books. But when I made the decision to start writing was the day I put to bed the idea of being the best fighter in the world. When I was competing, I was always competing to be the best fighter in the world. And I think for a while I was. I mean, maybe I didn't get the recognition, but I definitely think I was at least spoken of as one of the best guys in the world. And when I retired, with injuries and everything that happened in my career, I think I achieved a lot in my career, but I still think that I didn't achieve as much as I could have or should have. So I had to shift my focus from being the best fighter in the world to being the best teacher in the world. Now, being the best teacher in the world is very subjective. There's a lot of amazing teachers. I think I'm the best, but that's just, I have to think I'm the best. What am I going to say? I'm not the best? I have to say I'm the best.
Is there just an internal need inside of Javier Vazquez, the man, that wants to be the best?
Of course. There is no second place. they're gonna say, "Oh, John,
Coffee's for closers, bitch."
John Danner." I want John Danner to say like, "I'm good. Javi's better." I want the best guy. I want the best. No, in all seriousness, when I leave this world, I want my name to be known as, hey, maybe he wasn't the best, but man, he was in the conversation of being the greatest instructors. I want to be discussed in that conversation. I feel I'm the best. If not the best, I'm definitely one of the best. If I'm not one of the best, I for sure think I'm one of the best presenters. So that's what I shot for. I'm shooting for that. So because I work on my presentations, because I work on what I'm doing so much and I put so much time into it, of course I'm going to be one of the best guys. Nobody's putting as much time, countless hours. I've been on this project for 13 years. This is the end result of 13 years of refinement on top of, 25 years of high level competition. So I had the research and development in my competitive years, and then I had the refinement when I started writing the 16 books and up until the current stuff that I'm doing now. So who's put in more time? This is day and night. This is all I do, is figure out how to make this easier for people.
I know what you need to do. What you need to do is you need to challenge John Danaher to a jiu-jitsu debate. And we could set it up. We could put it online.
Yeah.
And we could have a live debate, man. And we could really build it up, dude.
Let me tell you something. I'm not afraid of him.
Hey, oh. Man, Javi, it's always great to talk to you, dude. You're looking great. I'm glad to see that you are still deep. Like, you've just gone deeper. It's like he's going even further than what he was.
Just keeps tunneling down.
But
I'm 3 years ahead.
You're very specific too, but I can appreciate that in a world of vague people who don't want to really put their name on anything ever. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that you put your ideas
your
out
balls
there.
on the line is what makes you a legend.
Yeah, man. I agree with you. Thanks so much for coming on. If you're listening or you're watching, make sure you check out jvjujitsuonline.com. If you go to the YouTube site for JV Jiu-Jitsu, there's so much stuff on there. It's cool, man. There's a ton of stuff.
I've got a shorts channel. It's just shorts, and then the main channel I put everything up.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff. Javi, you're the man, dude. Thank you so much. It's always great to talk to you. Wish you the best. It's great to see you, man.
Listen, Tim, I miss you. I think that I think you're a great guy. I've always really liked you. I love your passion for the sport. I love your involvement in the sport. I love that you do the podcast. I love that you stay involved. I wish you nothing but the best, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Have a great one, man.
You too.
Good night, man.
Peace.
Good night.
Laters. Dude, Javi's the best,
so much
dude.
Knowledge.
He's the best, dude.
Gosh.
It's just I need some pictures, dude. Like, I need him to talk through a slideshow with me. And just walk me through it. Because some of the things he says, I'm like, oh yeah, I think that. Like that I've or something similar to it. But some of the other stuff, I'm like, dude, I haven't heard that. Like, what? Mm-hmm. But it's all really intriguing stuff. It is. Sure. It's just, dude, this guy can go.
This guy can go, man.
He got deep.
He's like the Cuban Eddie Bravo. He just goes, dude. He goes, dude, and you got to get out of the way, man. Yeah. It's awesome, though. I really do appreciate him, man.
You could tell that he's just been ruminating on this stuff for.
Dude, I steal stuff from his videos all the time. All he does, because he does this stuff. You're like, okay, I've seen that, but then he does like something else, and you're like, okay, I haven't seen that before. Like, what the hell is that? It's cool. It's neat stuff. So. That was great.
How'd you guys know each other? You guys known each other for a long time?
Through going, like, I was always taking my stuff down to the tournaments down in LA and meeting everybody, and he was on the podcast quite a few times. He helped run a lot of the tournaments. And, yeah, he's pretty involved.
Nice.
So he's always been a good dude. to be honest. So some of the jiu-jitsu people are like little, like especially now.
Yeah.
Oh man, the new heads are a little kind of like. I have 25,000 followers on Instagram. It's like the OG guys aren't like that.
They don't.
Nah, they're cool.
Yeah.
No, they're like, I can kill you with my hands.
Yeah, they don't care. Like
They don't give a shit.
they're all like really tough. They were training when it was really hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's
You're
not.
getting a little back in my day right now, but I understand. I also believe you.
There's great jiu-jitsu players right now. Like there's high level guys.
Yeah.
A lot of people are good, but I just think the way they were training back then, it was harder.
Dogs.
It was meaner and it was harder.
Dogs.
And it was just like no excuses. Shut the fuck up. Like, it was
Don't be a
harder.
pussy.
I mean, I asked Dean this last time, but like, are you nostalgic for that a little bit sometimes, or is it good that it's evolving?
I feel like this. I feel like the guy that was in the Marines who only got in right at the end of the war.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you got a tiny, tiny, tiny little remnant of it,
you
but
technically got the country at war ribbon, but you didn't deploy.
but you didn't really do anything.
Sure.
Like
all power to you, but
because I started in 2005, which is not like there were dudes that were doing jiu-jitsu in the 90s.
Sure.
If you were doing jiu-jitsu in the 90s, that's like a long. Those guys,
you're a dog.
Those guys are OGs, man. Like there's not that many dudes like that.
Yeah.
Or even the early 05 is like, like it was right when the Ultimate Fighter came on. It started to like get a little bit more juice. It became a more popular thing. But anything before that, it was just cavemen, dude.
Yeah.
like you joined the SEALs after they technically stopped all the hazing.
When they started when they relaxed their requirements.
Yeah.
When they changed their
bit.
push-up contests.
Yeah.
So it was just harder then.
Yeah.
I just feel like the people that did it were tougher people. They were just there wasn't that many computer guys doing jiu-jitsu then.
Yeah.
They were all like cops, military guys, tough guys,
Yeah.
guys that were
Meatheads.
fighting, meatheads, wrestlers. It was hard.
Like real dudes.
It was hard. I was so soft. I got beat up so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
I wonder if that's how it's going to be like 15, 20 years in the future.
Me and you bitching about the same thing.
Yeah.
Tim used to put us through the ringer.
We
I
used to
don't
do
think so.
10-round
No
Tuesdays.
break.
No break.
Unless we
30
needed
second
one.
Okay,
breaks.
well, this is interesting though. Like, I don't remember doing as many rounds like this.
Oh.
I do remember doing lots of rounds.
And probably a bit more a level of savagery above what we're doing.
It was just the technical part of it wasn't as technical, but it was twice as mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was pretty mean. And so
It was dudes trying to hurt each other.
yeah, I mean,
Almost,
but
almost.
everyone's trying to win.
Yeah.
And they're trying to win.
Yeah.
So, and there was a lot less bitching.
Yeah.
You did
There's
this
a
too
lot.
hard.
There's a lot of bitches.
The instructor didn't talk to me today. A few of the upper belts in the gym don't know my name yet. It's like we get it, but like come on, dude. What you're not joining a social club.
Sure.
You're joining a combat club. Like these guys are savages. Compared to a new guy that walks in now, everyone on the mat is a savage.
True.
And it's like, oh, you just joined the Savage Club and you want us to be
Domesticated.
any boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't work that way. We're
Yeah.
turning you into a savage.
Yeah.
You're not coming here because we're pansies. You're coming here because you like this.
Yeah.
You think you want it.
I'm not here on my best behavior.
I mean, I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but,
I am.
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
toughen the fuck up, though.
I am.
Yeah.
They need it from me.
No, you need to be hurt.
No.
Yeah.
I'm
you
trying. I am actively trying to
I'm-
put. I am trying
You told me
to
that the other
put
day.
the beef on you at all times when we roll.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm trying. Mhm.
Dang, you're gonna get it.
I'll wrist lock you
Yeah,
all day and night.
try it. See
I've
what
done
happens. So, okay, keep talking shit. He got a wrist lock where my hand got trapped on the mat.
Taps tap, bro.
That's
Taps a tap in the dark.
yeah.
There's a guy
but he
in
doesn't
morning
come to open
class
mats.
named
I work.
TJ. Is
You
it
could you could make
TJ?
JT,
JT, bro.
You talking about corn fed from the other day?
big boy.
Big
Picture?
dog.
I'm
Big
not
dog.
coming to mornings.
Big,
I'm not
he's a big
stupid.
dog.
Big dog, dude.
I'll
Yeah.
casserole him too.
I don't think you
Shout
will.
out JT. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna be a little bit more.
Listen,
a little open schedule. I'll come see you.
you're not the first guy that has some size on him who is in love with Kesagatami.
I'm the prettiest of them. See these baby blues. You get to look me dead in the eye while I roll you and submit you.
You hypnotize them with your eyes.
That's right. It's the only defining feature I got.
They
I
flash.
can hold on to them.
Like the little ruby that was in that fighter's headpiece.
Sapphire is more accurate.
Sapphire, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Mhm.
It would flash, and that's how you knew he was going to. Your eyes start.
Twinkling a little bit. It's like, oh,
Give me a seizure.
I'm gonna get gator roll here.
Strobe lights.
Just careful.
Trigger warning.
Be
Trigger
careful
warning.
you don't fall in love.
Oh, brother.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. So, hey, pretty good show.
It was fun.
I liked it.
It was fun.
It was fun. And we figured out the first part.
We did. I actually didn't mind that.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, then you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But some people will.
Yeah.
It's a good. I mean, I hope it continues. That was a good bit of extra show. We're at a
Yeah.
$151 right now. Normally we cut it loose
Yeah.
at about a 120, 130.
Right. So anyway, there'll be more stuff coming out. We're getting something set up so we could, like give real good extra content.
Yeah.
And I'm building it up. I'm gonna put it out real quick.
We're working on some really cool stuff for you guys.
Yeah. And I'm gonna pump it out as fast as I can.
Yeah.
And just keep adding to it.
Yeah.
And run it that way. But it was a good show today, guys. Thank you so much. I know it's a little bit late. I think we got one more comment in the comment board. Oh yeah, winter stick. Yeah, that's true. He said Chuck made sure you felt that old school style. That is 100% true.
If you have any Chuck stories, send them to me at andrew.marhoney
These guys-
on Instagram.
yeah.
I'm obsessed with Chuck stories. That dude is a beast.
I think I'm the one with all the Chuck stories.
You have a
He
lot.
literally beat the shit out of me.
I'm glad someone needed
He
to.
taught me a lot.
You
but
talk
He
way too much shit.
mobbed me, dude. Like
Good.
it was just.
Good.
It was so bad, dude.
Good.
It was
Feel like
so
the
bad.
Emperor. Good.
You know how there's guys in here where we're like,
Not me, but yeah.
we hope you get it. Like,
Yeah.
we think you'll stick around. I was one of those guys.
Oh.
That's how they viewed me.
People were
Oh,
like
so-
50-50 on
They
you.
were like, we don't think Freeman's going to stay.
Oh.
That's what they were saying
you
behind
were,
my
you
back.
really? Do you believe you were one of those guys for sure?
Oh, well, that's what they were saying. They
Oh.
told me they were saying.
Well,
So,
It
they
told
for
me to
sure
my
thought
face.
so.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I wasn't going to quit.
Yeah.
I just was like, I thought I sucked. And I was just like, I just got to keep going to class.
I don't really want to be a dick right now because you set me up for a layup. But I mean, it's weird that you would. Not weird that you would own up to
Where'd
that.
you be
'cause
so
you're pretty
humble?
Yeah.
No, you're generally pretty humble. But
Oh, yeah. I'm the most humble person I know.
Yeah.
you genuinely are.
That's like not
It's
humility, right?
killing me to be nice right now, but you genuinely are, and it's just weird that you would.
You're
would-
generally a cunt, but
I know.
Well,
In an English way, so like a good one.
yeah.
Yeah, a friend. It's just weird to me that you would say that because I wouldn't have been.
you're also a cigarette in a British way.
I wouldn't have. That was good. I wouldn't have guessed that from you.
Sorry. Go ahead and make your point.
I wouldn't have guessed that that's where you thought at the time. Like, I'm no good, but I'm not going to quit.
Oh,
Because, I mean, I only know you as what you are now and your level
What,
of ability
a
now,
quitter?
of course.
no, yeah, just kidding.
A British cigarette. And it's very good.
I was not good. I was not good for the first probably
18 years?
3.5 to 4 year mark
Hmm.
was where I started getting better. But it was rough.
Do you think back then that you would be a double black belt by now?
No,
That's nuts,
I
dude.
was just trying to get a blue belt. I was like, if I get a blue belt, like, dude,
We did it.
I only went once
Ladies
a
and
week.
gentlemen, we got him.
yeah.
I went once a week for the first year.
It's a
Oh,
week.
I would have talked a wicked amount of shit about you.
Well, let me backtrack. Sometimes I went twice during the week.
Sure.
oh,
Sometimes. What happened was I originally started with the Nick Diaz crew, and then I slid over to Eric Shingu's spot, and then then he moved his spot up to Lodi. So when I first slid over to his spot, I could go twice a week, but then when he moved to Lodi, I can only go once a week because he changed his schedule.
I see.
So then I just did that for the year, and then he moved again. And he had more classes, and I was able to go. And what happened was Chuck
Legend.
was available during the weekdays to train.
And beat you up.
and during his lunch hour, and I was working from home all the time. So he had a key to the gym, and we just started going and training every single day.
Jeez.
And he just kind of started me with square one. Like, here's break falls, here's forward rolls. We did all the judo stuff, all the throws. We did so much work just constantly, and he was good. He was a pretty high level purple belt at that time, which, you know, is different than a purple belt now. There wasn't tons of, right?
Yeah.
So he worked with me a lot.
Did you ever like really not look forward to lunch some days?
Oh, dude, sometimes it was terrifying.
He's like, man, I hope Chuck's
Oh,
sick.
dude, it was like I didn't feel unsafe. I knew he wouldn't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wasn't out of control. At least not with me. He wasn't gonna like break my arm or he was actually very concerned about safety and wanted to make sure I knew, like, hey, watch out for this, be careful for that. He was an active law enforcement, like on the streets, fucking SWAT. Like, he was always out there squabbing. Like,
Chuck
he was
sounds like a bad motherfucker.
very based in reality. Yeah, for sure. I would not want to fight Chuck Walker. In a real fight, oh no. Wouldn't, no. Not in any fight, but especially not in a real fight. I don't want to fight Chuck. I love Chuck. But he taught me a bunch of basic stuff that I didn't know, and then we kept building on it. And it was just brutal, though. The training was hard.
Yeah.
Do you think that did that have enough of an impact on you that you've carried some of the things that he taught you, or at least how to do them through to your teaching?
A lot of it.
Really?
A lot. At least half of it comes from that work with him.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was super fundamentally sound, really smart, really good, like just real good, man. Great partner. I learned a ton from him. And he was a good role. He was technical, but he was tough, and he would fucking put it on you, dude. Wrist locks and everything. Now, we didn't know what we were doing with the legs. We knew nothing. We had a couple little leg locks, and that was it.
John Danaher
maybe a
hadn't
straight
been
ankle.
invented yet.
Yeah, straight ankle.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing heel hooks right then. Like, nobody was. But yeah, he taught me a lot of stand up, a lot of throws. Most of the judo stuff I learned from practicing with him, just repping and repping and repping. Dang. Yeah, he's a real tough dude, man.
Is this story that Winterstick on YouTube said is that a true one?
That's actually not about me.
Oh,
that happened to him.
Oh,
and the story he tells is that he was at Caesars and train going up there to train or something. He just got his blue belt, and Caesar was like, "Hey, you want to train?" And Chuck was like, didn't really, but it's like, you can't tell Caesar no. She's like, yeah. And he said Caesar just held him in Neon Belly for like 30 minutes, just wrecked him, dude, and like would not let him out. Chuck said he was like wanted to tap the whole time, but he didn't want to tap because he just got his blue belt, and he thought they're gonna like tell Eric, this chump tapped Neon Belly.
They'll take away my blue belt.
So that happened, but what I think Winterstick is probably remembering, because Winterstick is an OG inside BJJ dude. I think he's talking about when I started training a lot with Chuck. There was a time when I was wanting to compete, like my first one ever, and I was like didn't want to tell anybody because I was like I was kind of nobody, you know. They just at that point there were still several people in the class that wouldn't even talk to me. Like, they're just like, I'm not even going to acknowledge that you're a human being yet because you suck.
Yeah.
I generally don't want to talk to you.
And Chuck had pinned me up against the wall with his knee the whole round. And at the end, I'm like, any advice? Like, do you have any advice? He's like, you're doing fine. He just like patted me and walked off.
Tussled your hair when you had hair.
He was tough, dude.
So I'm thinking about that. Neon Belly for 6 5-minute rounds straight.
More or less.
30
I'm
minutes.
sure there were,
You imagine that?
I'm sure that there were moments where he escaped, but probably what it was is Caesar just kept camping out there over and over.
Still.
That's how it was. I knew a guy like that when I first started off. Like,
Yeah.
He was like you. He was a big boy and just
Well,
fucking belly.
This is what's happening.
Is that what you people feel like in Kessa?
Yeah, it is actually.
Good.
Yeah,
Uh,
kind of.
good.
Yeah,
I mean,
kinda.
belly's worse though.
I appreciate your honesty.
Well, no, Kessa's worse.
Kessa's-
It's harder to get out of.
Yeah. I feel like there was always a pressure style of jiu-jitsu that was like heavy pressure, like don't let them move, make them make mistakes, and then cook them and get the win. And then that's always been there. But then there's like, at some time we kind of branched off and we wanted to do like artistic jiu-jitsu and barambolos and guard play and sweeps and all kinds of cool shit. And it was a little less about like smash. But now we're going back there through the wrestling top game. Everyone's trying to be heavy top player, heavy top game.
Yeah.
It's just the jiu-jitsu smash. It's always been here.
Do you think
just
it's like a pendulum? Like it just swings back and
a
forth?
little bit, but each time it does, it comes back with more knowledge and a slightly different shift in the paradigm. Like the way people used to smash is different than the way they're doing it now.
I have
Does
a theory.
that make sense?
It's just like our political system.
More or less.
Leg locks and all that, berimbolo and all that nonsense.
The progressive
that
left.
doesn't work is the left. You need it every now and then to advance the game because you can't conserve everything.
Oh,
and then the right wing is the good stuff.
The good
that
stuff.
makes sure everything stays in place. You're not going nowhere,
Yeah.
you lightweight piece of shit. Get stronger.
What is going on? Somebody said they can't hear anything. There's
Uh-oh.
a song on loop.
Song on loop. I don't even have none of my volumes up.
I think we're okay, but someone said it on the Instagram.
Well, that's weird because the Instagram, I'm in the Instagram right now, and it's at least right now, it's still showing me the hobbies on. It's like the end of our interview with him.
Oh, he probably had his phone playing maybe, but I don't know how he was not on the stage. Anyway,
Maybe.
I don't know. Sorry about that, Joe. That's kind of lame.
Oh,
but
sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We did not know that.
What the? I don't know.
But thank you for pointing. We need you people to point that out. Thank you.
Semper Fi said he could hear us just fine.
Okay.
I don't know. Who
Okay,
knows? I don't know. But yeah. So anyway, so we're going back to the smash stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, but it's better.
Good.
It's better now.
It's a more
Well,
efficient
It always,
smash.
listen,
It's from wrestling,
it always has been. Smash.
not necessarily,
All
but
right.
it used to be like stack passing.
Mm.
We're gonna stack your ass up. I'm gonna roll your ass up, Holmes.
Break the neck.
Real like, and that's still there, but the wrestlers and the jiu-jitsu guys are like, now they've shaken hands and
Yeah.
they sing "We Are the World" and "Kumbaya," and
Yeah.
we get along now. So we cross-pollinate technique.
Yeah.
That used to not happen.
No.
And so the jiu-jitsu guys never had the top wrestling play at all, that's basically one of the biggest parts of wrestling is top positional control. That's the name
Right.
of the game, is to
Right.
control the top position.
Get those shoulders on the ground.
They're not wearing gis. They're grabbing the body and moving the hips and controlling the wrist and breaking people down. And guess what we're doing? We're doing the same thing now.
Yeah.
Danaher's making DVDs of it,
Mm.
but it's from wrestling. It's not, but finally we've been like, oh yeah, this might be something we should
Might
look
be
into.
useful.
Maybe we should try this. Guess what, guys? Uchimata, Judo Works. Whoa. Buy my DVD. That's kind of like where we're at. Like
Yeah.
old things are becoming new
I've been
again.
seeing a bunch of like judo coral belts on Instagram
Yeah.
transferring over a lot of their stuff to no-gi judo.
It's because no-gi is like this new thing, and now we're trying to fill it in
With everything.
that we already have on the gi side.
It's seductive.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that, in fact,
Yeah.
transfers very nicely over to that.
Yeah. It's fun. I love it. I love
love
the
it.
BJJ lifestyle.
Love
Real quick, I went down to Brandon McCaffrey's on Tuesday with Omar. We took a ride down there, man.
Friend of the show and great guy.
Yeah, we did the show with him. I don't think it's out yet. I still think it's
Editing phase.
Yeah, there was like a problem. It did go live, but then they ran into a problem with the audio on the interview before mine.
Mm.
And so I guess they're just
What was the name of the
trying to fix it. Ground control.
ground control? That's
Yeah.
right.
So So I was on that. Look for that. That should be coming out pretty soon on his YouTube channel. And then we just got to hang out. He asked me to teach the class, which was cool. I showed some San Quentin stuff. I was pretty nervous ahead of time. I was like, I don't know.
I thought it went well.
Yeah, I just was like, they were going to film it. I'm like, oh, God, I hope I don't, like, just fucking be an idiot right here.
Well, you're still gonna, but I'm sure it was a great class.
But I was like, look, you can be an idiot as long as you're a lovable idiot. And that's what I strive to be.
I don't want to bring this up on the pod, but we need to
Let's
talk
end it.
about that
Let's
too.
end it.
Okay. Play us out.
This show's over. Cue the music. We're done. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
All right, laters.
Please do us a favor. If you like the show, please rate and review on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. See ya.